Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. I want to appreciate you so much because of your great support. IEBC is having a crisis, and this crisis, it was because after immediately William Ruto took over as the President of the Republic of Kenya, what happened was that the witch hunts started when it comes to this IEBC 4. And that was Juliana Sherera, Justus Nyang'aya, Wanderi, and Irene Masit. Something that created a kind of conversation across the Republic of Kenya was that these IEBC commissioners never came out supporting the victory of William Samoei Ruto. But because there were three that were retiring, that is Wafula Chebukati, who was the chairperson of the IEBC, Gulie and Molu. But when they retired, there were three. At that time, there were four, but three had resigned. And that was Juliana Sherera, Justus Nyang'aya, and Wanderi, leaving Irene Masit not resigning, battling this kind of tribunal that William Samoei Ruto had appointed to investigate this kind of behavior. They said it was malicious and punitive, to come out to say that Wafula Chebukati had manipulated the result of presidential. Now, when Irene Masit remained, the tribunal came out investigating. Then after investigating, the report that was taken to the president was that the suggestion and the reports were that Irene Masit was incompetent and she was to be removed. What did William Ruto do? She was sacked from her position. Now, this left IEBC vacant because the three had retired. That is Wafula Chebukati, Gulie, and Molu. Then after that, we had three that had retired. That was Juliana Sherera, Justus Nyang'aya and Wanderi. So those are three, that is six. We remain with Irene Masit, where the tribunal came out giving their reports to the president that she was incompetent after their investigation. Irene Masit was sacked. That is a total of 7. In the IEBC commission, we have 7 commissioners. What we are remaining in IEBC, within IEBC, these 7 positions are vacant. Then what we just having is the CEO and other officials. And CEO is Marjan, Hussein Marjan. But now, the reports that I saw yesterday was that Marjan, the CEO of IEBC, is complaining that the crisis that IEBC is now experiencing is that they cannot even conduct any by-election. There was a certain by-election of members of parliament and MCAs who had died, or some of them was having some issues. And these some issues were the court had ordered a recount of the votes, and because there is no commissioner to come out to do this or to declare the winner, they are in a crisis. Now, who brought these all problems? It is William Samoei Ruto. Because when he was fighting hard to remove this IEBC that had rejected his victory, he knew what was going to happen. So literally is putting us a kind of hostage in IEBC commission, that even when it comes to reviewing the boundaries, constituency boundaries, they cannot do. They cannot even prepare, because when you look at the election, future election, the IEBC, their duty is to prepare early. It doesn't mean that when they finish or finalize the election, they always stop or the IEBC is disbanded. But IEBC should be there, as they have a lot of duties, reviewing the boundaries, conducting by-elections, conducting general elections, and those are the criteria. For example, like leading Kenyans to conduct referendum, it is the IEBC. So in any case, this is something that is happening, then IEBC is in a very dangerous position because no IEBC commissioner is there. All of them, 3 resigned, 3 retired, 1 was sacked. I did my seat. So it is a clear, dangerous path that we are going as a country, as every sector of the IEBC has been, let me say, vandalized, because this was a criteria of Kenya Kwanza coming out to sack this other IEBC because they said they had alternatives. Now, something that I have realized also again is that after the IEBC had been, of course, the commissioners had exited the offices, those who resigned, those who retired, those who were sacked, William Ruto embarked to a very serious recruitment of new IEBC commissioners. He came out selecting new panel, and this panel was to assist Kenyans to have the new IEBC commissioners. Now, when you look at what Raila Odinga was addressing after election, was that he came out saying that the IEBC commissioners is not an entity of the Kenya Kwanza government. It is an entity of Kenyans. So when it comes to selecting and deciding who is going to be the chairperson, who is going to be the deputy chairperson, who is going to be other IEBC commissioners, it is not the duty of Kenya Kwanza, but it is the duty of all Kenyans, including the government and including the opposition. Because there are those who are supporting opposition, there are those who are supporting Kenya Kwanza government. So this is a kind of ensuring that the referee that is going to be in IEBC is a person that is independent. And this independency is kind of ensuring that the selection is going to be so considerate on both sides, be it in minority, be it in majority. But something that we have realized is that now the Kenya Kwanza is doing it like it is an entity of Kenya Kwanza government. But again, when after this issue was raised by Raila Odinga, that they wanted that the servers to be open, they wanted that this recruitment of new IEBC to be open also, Kenya Kwanza never came out comfortable with this kind of demands of Azimio One Kenya Coalition. What they did was to call Raila Amolo Odinga to call off the demonstration so that they can embark to the bipartisan kind of dialogue that was suggested by the president. So when they went to a bipartisan dialogue, what we saw was a kind of playing with the minds of Azimio, where Kenya Kwanza was not so interested with the kind of suggestions that Azimio was bringing on board. And I told you that it was so pathetic and it was not something giving us a turnout, good turnout, because it was Kenya Kwanza government who came with their issues to be discussed, not Azimio. Because when you look at those who are demonstrating, it was Azimio. It was not the Kenya Kwanza government. So how comes someone that was, the government was not demonstrating? Why were they coming out with their issues? It was Azimio that was demonstrating. And they had issues to be resolved. And these issues were to put on the table and they decide on what to do. But in a real sense, what we are seeing is a kind of diverged kind of situation where the Kenya Kwanza is playing with the minds of Azimio in the name of wasting time, buying time, so that they can continue doing their own things. But critically, we have realized that as even the IEBC is creating a lot of crises across the Republic of Kenya, as this was the main issue to be discussed during a bipartisan kind of dialogue, I realized that now the message of Hussein Marjan has already made the panel to embark to the recruitment of IEBC commissioners, which I don't know if the way the Azimio is going to take it, because the report that we're getting is that, one, the IEBC commissioners, or rather the panel, has embarked to recruiting the new IEBC commissioners. So this is what they're complaining, that because Azimio had never came back to this bipartisan kind of dialogue, they have realized that now the only situation and the only option they have is to ensure that they are going to soldier on to recruit this IEBC commission, which I don't know how this will be a message to the Azimio. So we are waiting whatever they're going to say tomorrow. Ladies and gentlemen, what are your thoughts? Drop your opinion at the comment section below. Otherwise, thank you so much because of great support. Please consider subscribing, liking, commenting, and sharing this video. Bye bye till we meet on another video.